And while the Board of Ed meeting demonstrated a positive trend in Nico's possible return, the board does not make the final decision, the yes-no decision on whether Coach Nico will be returning. That lies in the hands of the athletic board members, whose members I'm unsure of. However, Mr. Morrow has called for a potential meeting before the end of the term for his for Coach Nico's possible return down the road. And unlike most board meetings and most questions posed to the board and testimony mentioned to the board, other board members stepped in and they mentioned about how the genuine testimony of most importantly the players and the parents and his fellow coaches were so invigorating that they are also inclined to offer Coach Nico a return offer. And it was at this point where the board broke its silence. After the public finished their testimony, the superintendent, who had to stay mostly tight-lipped for legal and privacy reasons, even voiced his own positive reinforcement of the fact that he's looking into it and is inclined to offer Coach Nico a return offer. When the floor was eventually open to the public at the board meeting, the first person to step up to the podium was Coach McBain, and then soon after was Andrew Del Rey and the rest of the team, including parents and other coaches as well. And mainly the main thing that every person who came up there was saying echoed the same thing, that Coach Nico is tough on the kids, yes, but he also is incredibly knowledgeable about the game of basketball and is only being tough on the kids for the sake of their own growth. One student even said that because of Coach Nico's training, these kids need that toughness in their lives in order to turn from boys to men. In Waldwick, when something happens to one person, it's like it's happened to the entire town, and Coach Nico's non-renewal is not an exemption. Hello everyone, welcome to the Boardroom Wrap. My name's Sarah Nasseri, and I'm here to be your eyes and ears in the boardroom. Today, I'm unpacking the Waldwick Board of Education meeting that occurred on May 4th, 2026. This was not your average board meeting. While it did begin with the average budget presentation and student council representatives sharing school happenings, when the floor was open to the public, things took a turn. But first, let's begin with the scene. When you looked into the gallery, you saw a sea of blue and white. Waldwick was being represented by its fans to the max. The conflict entailed Coach Nico, the boys' co-basketball coach, whose contract was not renewed for the 26-27 season. The tension was high. The community felt blindsided. They didn't understand why Coach Nico's contract wasn't being renewed, especially after having such a spectacular season, including winning the state sectional championship for the first time in 13 years. The process that occurs is the Board of Ed will listen, but the athletic board will evaluate and recommend if Coach Nico will return for another season. And the hope is that we're not at goodbye yet. The board's support leaves the door wide open, and honestly is probably a very good indicator that the board will make their utmost effort to retain Coach Nico. But ultimately, now all eyes are on the athletic department, and bringing back Nico is not over.